Did you eat today?
Yeah. I ate something earlier, but shit, I'm hungry all over again.
You didn't make sure your brother ate something. He could have had a hungry headache. You do know that's a grown ass man, right? It doesn't matter. I want to make sure my baby ate. Y'all don't be feeding him. Yeah, because we're all adults, and you would think somebody who's on the pedophile list can feed themselves. All them fast ass girls was lying on him. All 10 of them under the age of 15 was lying? You never take care of him. I told you to take care of your brother. That's your brother. Do y'all take care of me? We do take care of you. We don't. It's only with bare minimum negativity and double standards. You couldn't even like or comment or share my article, but you could run down to the motherfucking courthouse for that pedophile.
The male-centered mom theory is real. Having a mother, especially a mother that has daughters or one daughter, and the mom is male-centered, one of the worst things in the world. A male-centered mother will put that man before her children 90% of the time. I hate to say it, but this is a real thing. I hate to say it, but this is happening as we speak. So whoever gets mad, I truly don't care. It's a difference between, choosing yourself and doing self-love and being a male-centered woman, especially a male-centered woman that's a mother, and especially a mother to girls. That's the worst lineup ever. You have made men your life and not your kids, not your own peace of mind. The first thing you think about when you wake up is that man, not your kids, not your health, not your faith. And you will drop everything for that man. And not in a good way, because 9 times out of 10, they are not giving you what you're giving them. But you don't want to be alone. And you're male-centered. You need a man for this, that, and the third, but he's not doing nothing for you. And the worst part is you're doing this while that little girl is watching you. Your daughter is watching you.
A pick-me, male-centered mom will kick their own child out at the ripe age of 18 years old, probably younger than that, but will allow a bum-ass man to lay up in her house when she know he don't cook for her, he don't buy her shit, he don't clean, he's a cheater, a manipulator, he don't pay any bills. He probably abuses her verbally, mentally, and physically. But she don't care. She just wants to have a man laid up under her. So she will kick her child out at the age of 18 years old, but will allow a bum-ass man that don't do nothing for her stay with her. Makes zero sense.
Male-centered mothers are dangerous. The other day I was talking to this mom. She's married to a man. They both have children, but they do not have children together. She was basically saying it's her and her husband against her children, not his children, because he would never allow that. And she said that he would never allow that when it comes to his kids. He put his kids first. He don't care who it is, what woman it is. He don't care. He put his kids first. But her, she said that it's her and her husband against her children. That is dangerous. And when men know that they come before anything, maybe they will treat you like anything. They will make sure they take you through the ringer because they know you ain't going nowhere. They know no matter what they do to you, even if they do something to your children, you're still going to stay. And that, I think, is one of the most dangerous mothers that there can ever be. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not.
What's really heartbreaking is I realized my mom made everything about a man, getting a man, finding a man, and that has what's been communicated to me. And when I think about the self-esteem struggles that I've had throughout my entire life, they can all be hinged on this fact that thematically in my life, she made everything about a man. One time I sent her this photo, right, kind of showing her how my hair grew over the past 3 years of having locks. And it was so crazy because she even made that about a man. Like, how do you make my hair growth about a man? Damn. So I'm reading this book called Men Don't Love Women Like You by G.L. Lambert, and he's getting my ass together. And it's crazy how a stranger is telling me about my worth far more than my mother ever had. And that's where I think a lot of us end up getting stuck, is that we're trying to now in our adult years believe because of authors, because of therapists and life coaches like myself, because our friends are telling us how worthy we are. And we're so confused. We're scratching our heads because we're like, wait, we've never been made out to be special. And a lot of women can resonate with the fact that a lot of our parents made it more so about, you need this to have a man, you need that to have a man, you better cook or a man won't, you better not cut your hair because a man don't. Everything was about a man. And I realized my mother never really made it a point to be like, listen, you are so special, a man better, she never made it clear that a man must come a certain way, which made it so easy for me to just be impressed by any man that would come along, which made it so easy for me to just accept the bare minimum treatment. And I realized this didn't just happen with men, this happened with women too, where again, there was nothing that ever communicated, hey, you are special. Someone should treat you like this. Someone should do this for you. Someone should come at you with this kind of energy. It was never like that. It was always, hey, you need to make sure you're on point. Which is why a lot of women have a hard time believing they're the prize, which is why a lot of women easily buy into, well, we both can be prizes. Like, no, fuck all that. I don't give a fuck what the fuck I didn't hear growing up.
These are the mothers that no matter what their son do, it's never their son's fault. Their son could be beating somebody's child up, and now they're on social media writing, oh, they're always trying to bring down men. They're always trying to, or maybe your son is abusive. These are also moms who put all the burdens and the responsibilities on their daughters, but have no responsibilities or expectations for their sons. They take care of their sons, they clean up for their sons, they feed their sons, and their sons have no responsibility of their own. And then those same sons grow up to be terrible people. A centered woman is a woman that does not have the ability to see any wrongdoing in male actions. These women are also known as pick-me's, meaning their sole thoughts and opinions on things are formulated to get the male approval and the male attention, to be picked and chosen and to be desirable.
Male-centered mothers are dangerous. I'm not talking about mothers who just love their sons, but the mothers whose entire identity revolves around protecting a grown man's ego. That creates a very specific type of chaos. When a mother censors men, she doesn't raise her son to be accountable. She raises her son to be defended. Every mistake he makes becomes somebody else's fault. Every boundary he crosses becomes he's misunderstood. Now all of a sudden every woman he meets is too sensitive, or she's asking too much of him. Now you have an emotionally underdeveloped man who thinks correction is abuse. And it's even worse when you try to correct his abuse and he calls that abuse. Because all you gotta say to him as a woman is, hey, that hurt me. He's gonna say, well, now you're attacking me. Who's the victim now? That's why as a mom, you cannot teach your son that his comfort is more important than everybody else's reality. Because now he's not looking at the women in his life as humans. They're looked at as competitors or villains just because they had the audacity to hold him accountable when he's never had to deal with that before. So now he thinks your accountability is disrespect. And you can't do nothing with that except leave it. So moms, male-centered moms, if you're not holding these men accountable, you're not only hurting the women that he's with, you're hurting him. Because what's he going to do when they eventually leave his nonsense? He's going to cry. And he's going to be sad. And he's going to lack the tools to understand that this was all his fault. Y'all be safe.
Today we'll be discussing the dangers of having a male-centered mom. Do you have a male-centered mother? Well, I do, although mine isn't much of a chronic male-centered mother. She does center the opinions and the interests of the men in our lives above us, especially that of my dad and my brother, to a certain extent, but she's not that chronic about it. And personally, I don't really let it get to me, although some my sister do. So, in case you don't know what a male-centered woman or a male-centered mother is, yes, a male-centered woman is that woman that centers her entire life around men, around the validation of men, around the approval of men. This is the kind of woman that goes above and beyond to protect and promote the interests of the men in her lives, and even the men that are not in their lives too. This woman is the kind of woman that wants to have a man so bad that she places the idea of having a man above anything and everything, including her children. Yes, and that's where we get into male-centered mothers. Male-centered mothers can be very dangerous. This kind of women are the women that place the need of having a man above their children, above the well-being of their children and the interests of their children. This is the kind of woman that allows for a child to be abused. She allows for the children around her to be abused by the man in her life, just so she can keep that man in her life. This is the kind of woman that excuses the emotional, the physical, the financial, even the sexual abuse of her children and herself just because she wants to keep a man. This is the kind of woman that will step on her daughter in order to lift up and uplift her son, her husband, and the men in her lives. This kind of woman does not see her daughter as a child, as her husband. No, she sees her daughter as a competition. She is jealous of her daughter. She's jealous of the youth of her daughter. She's jealous of the things that the daughter is able to accomplish, because maybe she might have let her dreams fall by the wayside because of a man. But yet she's seen her daughter flying high, and this gets to her. This makes her even more jealous and aggressive towards her daughter. This kind of woman is a very dangerous woman. Male-centered women are very dangerous to themselves, to their children, and to the women in their lives. Let's get right into it.
What man are you trying to look good for doing your makeup? I'm not trying to look good for no man. I'm actually just trying to do my makeup to get better, because I see that why would I do it for a man? Do you know who you're talking to? I was your age once, okay? Don't act like I'm dumb. Then don't act dumb, okay? I'm literally doing my makeup to get better, and it's not for nobody but me. If it's not for no man, why would you even want to do your makeup? Because what's the point of makeup if it's not to show it off? Because it's art, and it's something that I like to do. I like to make myself feel pretty, not for nobody else, but for just me. Okay, sure. And is that why last week you were wearing that tank top outside to when we were going to the mall? It was 107 degrees. I feel like the devil was rubbing his balls on the back of my neck. That's why I was wearing a tank top. Again, do you think I'm stupid? When I was younger, we used to wear tank tops all the time so the boys would look at our chest. And you're telling me, with someone that they got a big chest, that you're not wearing that for no man? I was too worried trying not to have a heat stroke because it was 107 degrees. I don't care how you feel about what you wear and how you wear it and who's it for, but for me, it was literally just a tank top, and I'm literally just doing my makeup because I want to get better at my makeup. You can lie to yourself all day, but I know it's for a man.
What's more dangerous than a man that preys on a woman? Sometimes it's a woman who raises you to believe his love matters more than your life. I'm talking about male-centered mothers. Pick-me mothers. The ones who worship their sons and their man, but raise their daughters like competition. These mothers build their entire identity around being chosen by a man. Their self-worth is tied to whether a man loves them, wants them, or stays with them. And they pass that sickness down. They pour unconditional love into their sons, teaching them they're kings no matter how they act. But their daughters have to earn scraps. Every compliment feels like a competition. Every mistake feels like proof you're not enough. Daughters of the pick-me mother grow up being compared to the mother when she was younger, to the men the mother wants to keep around, to the sons who can do no wrong. She'll call you fast. She'll shame you for your body. She'll accuse you of trying to take her man. And not because you did anything, but because in her eyes, you're competition, not her child. And that kind of jealousy is a form of abuse. It makes daughters feel like intruders in their own home, like they're never safe, even with their own mother. And the dangers of being raised like this runs deep. You grow up believing that women are rivals, not allies. You normalize men being prioritized over your safety. You often shrink yourself to avoid triggering her jealousy. You internalize the idea that your voice, your body, your needs are the problem. And here's the truth. Male-centered mothers don't protect their daughters. They protect men. They protect their sons. They protect their image. But rarely do they protect their girls. I had to break the cycle. When my mom died when I was 19, I got to raise myself with the love she couldn't give. I got to choose women as allies, not enemies. Male-centered mothers may have raised us. They will not define us, because we are not pick-me's. We are not rivals, and we are not threats. We are daughters, we are women, and we are worthy.
I stand 10 toes on the fact that the only thing worse than having girlfriends who are male-centered is having a mother who is male-centered. I I still randomly think about the fact that when I was a kid, I used to call my mother all the time and she would never answer. She wouldn't answer. She wouldn't call back. I used to feel like I was some ugly man stalking my mother. And same thing for my sister. Like, it was not just me. And it got to a point where finally we gave up and we just stopped calling her because she didn't answer. And then one day my dad asked me and my sister if we had called our mom recently, and we both said, no, we don't call that lady because she doesn't answer us. And my dad looked at us like we had 10 heads, and he said, what are you talking about? Every time I call her, she answers immediately, or she calls me right back. Okay. Mind you, according to my mother, my father is this awful, terrible person who abused her. And he actually did do those things. He did do those awful things. But she still to this day answers his phone calls, and she doesn't answer her children. The Dickie could get a response out of her on any given day, no matter what it has done to her, but her children cannot.
Okay, so I'm starting to see that male-centered women and women in religion is getting widely talked about on TikTok. And I'm here to share my story, unfortunately. So growing up, my family was very religious. Mother was extremely male-centered. And I always didn't like the men she would bring around after my dad. Of course, my dad wasn't the best person. But after him, it was just like she brought around anybody. And I don't know, I feel like as a child, I could just read energy. And as a child, you can tell when somebody is just not a good person. But I done went through so much shit with my male-centered religious ass mama. It's like they don't see your worth unless you're doing something. Unless you're producing something or you're helping them or sacrificing your time in some kind of way. It was like always males came first, whether it was my grandpa, whether it was my brothers, whether it was her ex-husband, the males always came first. And she made that known. Even my little sisters know that my big brother is her favorite. Like, she made that shit known. Like, we all know. But it don't make that shit right. Like, pick-me moms and male-centered moms are the worst moms to have.
A male-centered mom who is hyper-focused on her husband and on just getting chosen by men if she's single over and over again will put that man over everybody and anybody because she's in the quest of finding worth through a man loving her, and because that's what she's been taught she needs to do in order to find out that she has some worth. If she's man approved, she's worthy. If she's not, she's not. So these women will always choose men over their even their children, and will stay with men that even hurt their children, and will do anything to be with those men, and almost like want to get the children out of the way so they can just enjoy being with that man, because that's how intoxicating it is for them to be chosen, to be someone, to be something to someone, provided that someone is a man. And that's the effects of being socialized in a society that teaches us from early on that men's approval holds the biggest weight. And many of these girls that became mothers became women, and their mothers, or maybe they didn't even become women, they just from little girls went to motherhood, or also possibly not given love from their fathers, so they've never been approved by men, which is why they're so obsessively chasing for it and so ready to self-abandon when it comes, because it's like this is the thing they've been looking for their entire lives. And this
I saw a video on here and it was a real gut punch, and the girl was talking about how her mom is so male-centered, and she wants to find her soulmate in a man so bad that it's been at the expense of her relationship to her daughters, and it has blinded her to the fact that her children are her soulmates. So I saw that video, and of course I sent it to my sister, and then I sat there and stared at the wall because I was like, wow, that is exactly my situation with my own mom. I've had several stepdads and they all suck, okay? And a couple years ago, my mom and her then husband got a divorce, and I was so excited because I was like, finally, I'm going to get some time with my mom without her being weighed down by this like shitty relationship. And that just didn't happen because immediately before her divorce was even finalized, she met some other guy who coincidentally was her savior. Everything she's ever wanted was going to be her rescuer. And this guy came into our life like a bull in a china shop. Okay, that is not an exaggeration. And whenever my siblings and I would kind of express like, hey, we don't know about this. Like, we're not really sure about this guy. There's some real fundamental moral differences there as well. Like, what are you doing? And she just wouldn't hear anything. And he didn't care how we felt, and she didn't care how we felt. And I think a big issue with that is that we are all adults. And because we're not children who are forced to live with them, they don't care about our opinions or our feelings as much. And so this is actually all culminated in my siblings and I being estranged from my mom for several years now. And it's just so sad because I really was so freaking excited to like grow my relationship with my mom, to get closer. And instead our relationship has just totally fallen apart. We don't talk at all. And it's really because of her needing to be in a relationship. And it's quite literally at the expense of all of her other relationships, at the expense of her relationships with her 3 children.
I saw this post on Facebook and it said that male-centered females are not good moms. And when I say that ain't nothing but the truth, a male-centered mom has to be the scariest kind. Those women will seriously get with the man and will let that man say anything, do anything to their kids. And just because they got somebody to lay next to at night, it's okay. Them be the kind of women that be knowing that their child is getting assaulted and to be like, it's okay, or try to make the child have an understanding of why it should be okay for that man to do stuff to them. Them be the kind of women that get with men and all of a sudden the daddy can't see the kids because they over there doing stuff to the kids that they don't want the kids to say nothing about. Them be the kind of women that'll go and spend all their money on the man, but when it come to their child looking less than every time you see the child, but her and the man look good. And sometimes it don't even be her with the man, it just be the man looking good and he ain't even got no damn job, so you wondering what's going on. Male-centered moms will see that the relationship that she's in is affecting her child and will see the child acting out different behaviors and all the things and will sit there and blame the child and say that the child is in the grown people business and stuff like that, when whole time, no, baby, your relationship with that man or that woman is affecting the child and you should pay attention to that. That has to be the scariest thing to have, like, seriously. That's why I let my kids know up front, baby, don't nobody come before y'all, ain't no man about to be living with us or none of the things, because a man don't rule my world and I can seriously wait until my kids is grown to take somebody serious and date them. It's never that deep.
And when that girl said male-centered female should not have kids, clock it. I don't know if I'm too deep off the TikTok streets and y'all on the same streets as me, but I really don't think people understand how much like them doing stuff for a man and putting men first and not hearing, seeing, or feeling your children because a man is in the house or a man is around. That is a issue. Like everything you do as a child, guess what? You grow up and you be that type of adult. I don't think women understand because they think the 2-parent household is the goal, not knowing that that household is not healthy. It still affects them children. That's why a lot of men grow up and can care less about women, like hate women, think women supposed to go through anything and everything because they see their mama do it with a male, see their mama be with their daddy on and off for years, have outside kids, don't do nothing, don't teach them nothing, sit in the room all day while she's slaving, cooking, working, and the daddy get to do nothing. You understand? I don't think male-centered women understand that. Like, you can't tell your daughter when she get 19, 20 to leave a man alone when she watched you put up with any and everything for a man. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, I get wanting a 2-parent household, but I feel like the real flats, single or not, men are not creating a healthy, peaceful home for your children. It's the real flex. Your kids knowing you did it by yourself because you was by yourself. It's the real flex. Being able to tell your teenage daughter, hey, cut that off, and she trusts your word because she's seen you not put up with no any and everything. Telling your son, hey, don't do that girl like that. And he listen because he know you won't allow nobody to do you like that, and you respect you and he respect you. You get what I'm saying? Like,
some mothers are so male-centered that they become dangerous to their daughters. They emotionally elevate their sons and discard their daughters, not out of love, but out of internalized patriarchy so deep that it becomes an identity. They celebrate their sons and dismiss their daughters, not because their daughters are unworthy, but because they see men as safe and women as competition. What they express is patriarchal trauma playing out as emotional abuse. Male-centered mothers lean on their sons emotionally and treat them like partners instead of children. That's emotional incest, which creates entitled men and silenced daughters. These mothers will show their male-centeredness by calling in their sons and male partners to put their daughters in their place when their daughters express emotions, resistance, or autonomy. That's not about correction or discipline. That's about punishment for stepping outside of the role that patriarchy assigned women and girls. To the women and femmes reclaiming themselves, healing from a male-centered mother isn't just personal, it's ancestral. It's the sacred act of breaking generational cycles rooted in patriarchy. It means unlearning the ideology your mothers absorbed so they don't pass through you. It means choosing your voice over silence, your autonomy over approval, and your truth over traditions. Above all, it means remembering that you are not the problem. Patriarchy is, and you are the turning point.
So I think I specifically want to address the young ladies and the young girls out there. Those that you notice that your mom is male-centered and this woman is putting you in danger. I know that a lot of you don't have the money to leave your house. You don't have the money to move out. And even some of you may be minors, meaning you cannot leave the home. And you're stuck with this woman. You're stuck with this woman that is placing every male in your life and the man that she's with above you. And you feel like your life is in danger because of this. You feel like your life is in danger because of her actions and her choices and the things that this woman may allow as a mother. I personally think that this is a case-by-case basis because some societies, some countries that you may be in may have systems in place to protect you, to help you to get out of your house if you are being abused. And I will employ you to take the help because you need it. Instead of you to stay home for the sake of staying home and then something happens to you under this your male-centered mom's watch, I will advise you to take the help if your country have help available for you. Take that help and get out of there, especially if you have younger siblings. If you have younger siblings, if you're not even going to think of yourself, because I think we as women, we are groomed to not think of ourselves, to not think of our interests first. Think about the interest of your younger ones. Think about the interest of your siblings. Find a way to get yourself and your siblings, your sister out of that house. If your society, if your community, if your country have help, have systems in place to protect you, please take that help and protect yourself, protect your family, protect your sisters from that woman, because she may be your mother, but she's actually in danger to you. And if you don't, if you live in a country like mine, because my country does not protect women at all. We don't have shelters for women. We don't even have shelters for children. If your parents are abusing you, I pity you if you're in my country because there's no help in sight. Your neighbors, everybody will just look the other way. If you go to the police, you go to the authorities for help, they'll be like it's a family matter, settle it with yourself. Even if actual rape happens, or even if murder happens. I've seen situations whereby a parent ended the life of a child and then it has been swept under the rug as a family matter and then they settled it within themselves. This man is still walking around scot-free. His wife did not leave him. All of them are still living in that house and everybody is just moving on with their lives. So if you live in such a country, if you're a bit older, I would advise you to move out. I know it is hard. Even me, I'm still living under my parents' roof. It's very hard to move out. But instead of you staying there and then something bad happens to you, I would advise you to move out. And before you move out, find a way, find a source of income. In Nigeria, which is my country, finding a job is very hard. And a lot of the jobs, even the jobs for us graduates that we have a degree and all these things, they pay little to nothing. So I will advise you to get a skill, especially online. If you have a phone, you are listening to me on your Android phone, on your iPhone. If you have an iPhone, please sell it. Sell the iPhone, buy an Android phone. Start something. Get a skill. Become a writer. Become a voiceover artist. Become something. Do something that can earn you money so that you can quickly move out of that house. Because trust me, for us that are living in these kinds of countries where society, the authorities do not really care about us, they will look the other way. If something serious happens to you in that house, everybody will cover it up. Starting first and foremost with your mom. That your male-centered mom will cover it up. She will support her partner. She will not want to be left alone. She will be the one that will hide the evidence of what has been done to you. She will be the one that will discredit you and your testimony. She will be the one that will prevent you from even going out to seek for help. So if you can, leave that environment. Leave that environment. You need to leave. You need to stay safe. And you need to stay safe, not just to be roaming about. That is why I advise you to get a skill. Start something that can earn you money, because when you get on your feet, that is when you can be able to even help your siblings so that you can get them out of the environment as well. That's what my friend did. The mother did not really care about them. The mother sent them to their aunt to live with their aunt, and their aunt was abusing them. So she was the first person. She started learning tailoring. When she learned tailoring, she opened her own shop, and she was doing her tailoring. Before you know, she rented a self-contained. If you're in Nigeria, you know what a self-contained is. It's basically a one room, and in that room there's a toilet, a bedroom, and then there's a kitchen attached to it. And when she got that self-contained, she got that room, she went back to her aunt's house, and she took her two sisters with her. That is why you need to live. You need to live, not just for yourself, but for those that are coming up behind you. You are not going to be able to help them if you stay in that environment and you let yourself to keep on suffering in that environment. You need to live. You need to get skills and put yourself in a situation whereby you can take care of yourself. And very soon you will see you will also be able to take care of others, and you can help others too. So I don't really want to add much about this whole topic about male-centered moms and how they can be dangerous. I think the other creators have spoken at length about them. That is why, for the end, my main focus is about telling young ladies, especially those of us that were in sticky situations and it's hard for us to get out of very dangerous environments. That is why I wanted to just drop some advice and some words of wisdom so that they can take this as encouragement, so that they can leave their environment, so that they can leave that home. So what do you think about this whole concept of mothers being male-centered and how dangerous they can be to their daughters? And do you have any safety tips for the young girls that are living in a home with a male-centered mom? Do you have any resources that they can use to help themselves in your country, in your city? If there's any resources for such girls to be able to help themselves to get out of the home, to protect themselves, please drop it in the comment section. Remember to like the video if you found it interesting, and subscribe to the channel to support me. And finally, check out this playlist for more videos like this. Thank you for staying to the end, and bye.